The question is, do you agree that Scotland should be an independent country?
For me, the principle that we work best when we work together.
Well, they didn't.
Very serious.
The referendum. It seems to me that they're not dealing with the issues.
Hi, the Scottish Independence Podcast is your chance to hear some different views on what the independence referendum means for Scotland. Hello, this is Scottish Independence Podcast number 22. You'll probably have noticed by now that our little April 1st episode wasn't actually our final episode, and I'd just like to say thanks to all you who tuned in. It seemed to go down rather well. This time we're back to more normal programming, and this time I spoke to Nighet Nasim Riaz. We'll just go straight to the conversation, and I'll have a wee word with you at the other end. I'm here with Nighet Nasim Riaz, who is a PhD researcher and an activist in Women For Indy. Hello, how are you doing?
Hi, Michael. Hi, I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me to come and talk to you today.
It's a pleasure to have you on. So, first of all, I suppose we should talk about your PhD. You're doing the research at the moment. What exactly is your PhD in?
My PhD is looking at disaffection of young people with an emphasis on those from a black and minority ethnic background and new arrival young people and children that have a propensity to fall into the pre-need grouping of not in education, employment or training. So it's looking at specialist interventions that schools and other organisations implement to re-engage these young people. It's a very interesting study. I'm only as far as a literature review, and I'm looking for case studies. To date, I have permission, I have ethical approval from Glasgow City Council. Fortunately, due to it being exam season or head teachers being off sick, or some schools already having too many PhD students, I haven't been given access into schools as yet. So that has been my biggest barrier so far.
Just to move on from that, it's an interesting position for you because you're someone who's moved up from England, but you're now quite involved in the Scottish independence campaign. On a general level, before we move to specifics, what is it that attracts you as someone who moved up to Scotland to the idea of independence?
I was invited by Tahir Mohammed, who was a candidate standing at the Govan Council elections, to come and see the demographics and look at the social conditions around the people and the communities in Govan, from the poverty in Ibrox to the more well-off in Dunbrec, and just get a feel of what my research could be about, a wider context. I found it very, very interesting, and that got me more and more involved, and it showed me the inequalities in the system. And I thought an independent Scotland would give us the opportunity to right the wrongs that have been done to us by Westminster policies that we are forced to implement that we personally don't believe in.
So do you think we would have that opportunity because the government would be nearer to the people? It's more local, so it's more able to look after local issues?
I would like to think so. That is the reason why I have personally become so active in this. I think, only by engaging with the people from these communities that we need to reach them and listen to them in the run-up to the referendum. Their views are really important, and the support is critical if we have success in 2014.
So what would you like to see happen to change? Given your research, what would you like to see, what changes would you like to see made in social policy?
I think all this interest around the bedroom tax, I'm glad the SNP are now being more proactive. I would like to see them re-engage further and not start and say it'll happen post-2014. I would like to see them engage more and more now if they want to win the confidence of this group of people.
One of the things you do that's engaging with the public is Women For Indy, which is a group that has a lot of supporters, and I believe it's growing quite well. Can you explain a bit about the project? Because I believe you're quite heavily involved with that.
I was asked to come on board and help structure the website. It's a wonderful group full of really role models such as Shona McAlpine, Natalie McGarry, Isabel Lindsay. I'm name dropping here. I'm very impressed by these women. Kate Higgins, Carol Haney, Caroline Becky. even Cascade, very strong women with views from different areas, but they're also passionately pro indie. It's inspiring for people like me who have very limited knowledge, and it's great to learn from them and take forward projects such as listening exercises to engage women.
What happens at the meetings in general?
We talk about the people that we've met who have managed to engage in the conversations. We go away with listening. Well, this was until January where the survey finished. We went away, we formed groups, we'd speak to people over coffee mornings or do workshops, do the listening exercises that Kate and Megan and Gillian formulated to engage with women that were unsure what independence meant to them. We then brought the information back, and it's present, it's being looked at to see what the findings are, analysed.
Do you think it's having a positive effect?
I would like to think so. With such strong models as Natalie and Isabel and Kate and the others that I mentioned, I think it's a very positive role model. It's far more inclusive. That there's no set ideology or party line as it would be in the SNP. It's far more inclusive. It's a broad church, and it's one that I find very inspirational.
The listening exercises, what do they actually involve? Is it like a conversation group, or is there some kind of set system to it that you said maybe Kate and some others designed it?
It's a semi-structured interview. It's basically we're given a script, but you don't have to follow it. We let we'll ask a couple of questions, and then we just sit back and let a discussion form. It's very much along the line of a focus group, which gets as many opinions across as we can.
And then why do you think there is this discrepancy between males who support independence and females who support independence? Why do you think such a gap exists?
In my short time as an activist, I find I prefer to be spoken to rather than be spoken at. And the males that are in this debate, they seem to be very, very aggressive. It's, how do you say, it's demotivating. You don't want to take part in something that where you're spoken down to. I prefer this format where we all engage on an equal platform.
So you think it's partly, a problem of media whereby a lot of these discussion panels, it's all just men sitting shouting at each other, basically?
Very much so. It's very off-putting, and if I hadn't been so passionate about it, every time I see that, you see that before the TV would go off. Now I find it interesting and watch it, but I see such, it's there in front of you. It's, a panel, mostly it's men, and every now and then they'll stick in one or maybe two women in about 6 or 7 panelists. I mean, which is, I suppose, a good way. It's showing that there is progress being made, but a lot more needs to be done.
Yeah, I think these things should generally be 50-50. And also
Yes.
with the referendum coming up, there should be 50-50 representation of yeses and nos as well. But that's something you never ever see as well. It's usually one independent supporter, probably male, with 3 no supporters screaming at him.
Yes, I've noticed that. It's very obvious that there seems to be a media bias going on. Hopefully that will change as more knowledge about what independence will bring us comes out. I think the white paper is due out in October of this year, and I'm looking forward to reading it.
Do you think the gap between the male yes vote and the female yes vote can be bridged?
Yes, but it will need a lot of hard work, and it will need a lot more women coming out from Women for Independence, from other pro-independence parties, and getting that message across, to use a different language to get that to them.
And get them put on television as well.
Yes, true.
Even though it can be difficult sometimes. So when does the Women for Indy report come out?
I was speaking to Natalie a couple of days ago, and she assures me that it should be out in the next couple of months. And whatever the results are, we will then build our strategy and take it forward from there.
It's a very good approach as well. I very much like the bottom-up element of it instead of the, right, this is what we're doing, let's go and do it, top-down sort of stuff. It seems like a very good way to go about things.
It's absolutely brilliant because there are women from all backgrounds with they bring the different skills and different knowledge. It's this pool that we can all dip in and out of, and to me that is invaluable. It's one of the best toolkits I could ever have. So that's why I prefer Women for Independence.
At the Women for Independence meetings, it's been a listening exercise so far, but I'd be interested to know, it's possibly a bit of a scurrilous question, but do you think there's been many women who were no supporters being, converted, so to speak?
We have invited all women that, are passionate and will engage in debates about why they believe that, we should stay part of the union. We will tell them that there's meetings, or we will set up like small group meetings and say, please come along. Unfortunately, they haven't taken us up on it so far, but it would be very interesting to engage with them. I mean, it's a two-way process. It's not about saying we are right and you are wrong. It's having that respect built into that conversation, which I think has been missing so far. It becomes very undignified when you see people shouting at each other or using social media to score points. That is not the way the debate should be going. This is about our future and about making the right decision for the people of Scotland, and they should be involved in that process.
How do you feel that the position for women in Scotland compares to that in England in general?
I think it's very similar.
What would an independent Scotland be able to give us? For example, I'm a supporter of 50-50 representation in the Parliament. It's something which is, I think the Scottish Parliament missed an opportunity there. But that's just one measure. What other things do you think an independent Scotland could help to bring about for the status of women in Scottish society?
Hopefully that our views are accounted for, that women from working backgrounds, that the living wage is increased to accommodate the fact that they have so many barriers to go through, including childcare, to support their families. These are issues very important on the grassroots level. It's about making them more inclusive in any process or in any policy. It's not about doing a poll of 1,000 people and then saying, yes, that's the way we're going to go. It should be more of a one-to-one listening to what people, especially women, need in their day-to-day lives.
So you would have supported the recent increase in nursing hours for children?
Yes, I absolutely believe in that.
Yeah, because that brings us nicely to our next topic, because I believe you were at the SNP conference lately.
Yes, I was.
So you're a roving reporter. So what was the feeling you got from it?
I found it very interesting. It's my third conference that I've been to, and it's interesting seeing how people work. It's the power dynamics that go on. As a researcher, my speciality is ethnography, and it really is about people watching in social contexts. And I just find it absolutely fascinating watching how people network with each other.
Do you think it was a generally positive meeting? It must have been very upbeat just after the announcement of the referendum that all those people have been working for so long.
Absolutely. I mean, getting that date of 18th of September 2014, it gives everyone a focus of, yes, it's concrete, it's there, this is what we're working for. It just gives us that sort of like tangible point to go to.
Yeah, it just makes everything a lot more concrete. And
yes.
Were there any of the speeches you were particularly struck by, or were you too busy watching the audience? Sorry, because you said you were people watching. So, were you struck by anyone in particular?
I actually found Chris Stevens' speech very humbling. Just the tone he used, his body language, it was just very humble. He mentioned people in the party that had gone before who had fought for independence all their lives, and it was a shame that they weren't here to celebrate in this momentous occasion. So that was the gist of it, and I found that really, really quite heartwarming. Again, I really enjoyed Natalie's speech. I thought she was very good, as well as Liz Bardell's. Tony came across as, again, very, very passionate, as did Tasmina. They were all good speakers. It's just when you vote, it's left open to the membership.
So you're a little disappointed that maybe Natalie didn't get on the ticket? I was.
Yes, I was very disappointed. I think she's a very capable young woman. She has been